and welcome back to Tuesday Tea. I'm one of your hosts, Melissa, with my other fabulous host, Alicia. And we are here today with someone very near and dear to my heart, Jason. But before I introduce him, or rather let him really talk about himself, which is something he loves to do, I just wanted to remind everyone that last month we did stories that we just let people share their stories, and we liked it so much that we decided we're going to do it again in October. I think what I love the most about it is that no matter if you weren't a mom suffering from postpartum anxiety, or you could get something from all of these stories. Like, our guests have so much to share, and Jason is no different. So he's going to be talking a lot about just like his journey and to come to a place of basically being who he is authentically, unabashedly, and unapologetically. And I'm really excited because I think he has a lot of value to add, just about who he is and how he shows up, and operates in the world. And yeah, I love him very much. And without further ado, I will pass it over to him to introduce himself.
My name is Jason Smith. I am a whole list of things. I'm a storyteller. I'm a husband. I'm a teacher. I'm an artist. I'm a writer. And I am a person navigating this crazy world that we are in right now. And so I have a really traumatic story about the journey to become who I really am.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm from rural North Dakota. So,
North Dakota, don't you know?
oh yeah, for crepe sakes. So, I was, I was a gay
That
kid in
half
North
the
Dakota.
whole rest of the time. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
I mean, I could. Don't even get me.
No,
Don't even
please.
challenge me. Don't even get me started. When I have a flu and I'm really sick with the flu, or when I'm really really tired or really drunk, it'll slip in. And Melissa knows for a fact. Like, I'll be like, "Gosh, I'm tired," and she's like, "What?"
Where's Jason?
Yeah.
But I grew up gay in North Dakota, right? And I grew up in the 80s. And so being gay in the 80s, especially as a male or as a person identifying as male, my pronouns are he him. I was, when being gay when I was a kid meant you died of AIDS. And so, I started this journey of like who I was when I was 7 is probably close to who I am now. And it's taken me 4,000 years. I was gonna go, do I go young or do I go extra old? It's taken me 4,000 years to get here, right? Like, I think that I spent most of my adult life trying to go back to the person who I really was at 7. And so, because then I didn't care. I didn't edit myself. I didn't censor myself. I didn't judge myself. I just sort of was and liked and played and was exploring. And I think it has taken a long time to figure out that that's really what adulthood is, right? Living, being present, being in the moment, playing. When you're a kid, when you're 7, you don't care what's going to happen on next year. You want to know you might care what you're having for dinner,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
like,
but you're
what's the
mostly,
kid? What's the toy? Who am I hanging out with? What's the
yeah.
apps for now?
Oh my God, you, yay, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I was raised in a very religious household. And when God and identity are at opposition with one another, you can do a lot of damage. So, I was told, look, if I could have not been gay, I would have not been gay. I tried really hard. We have been here as the LGBTQIA person. We have been here since the beginning of time, and we will be here until the end of time. You could kill a generation off, and we will keep sprouting up, which means that we are natural. We are supposed to be here. If you believe in God, right? God is creating, keeps bringing us back, right? If we weren't supposed to be here, they would be able to get rid of us. And I say that because when you're told that who you are is evil, when you're told that who you are is a sin, when you're told that God doesn't like who you are, that does a lot of profound damage when you're really early and really formative. So a lot of LGBT people have a lot of religious trauma because who wants God to hate them?
Right.
Like, that's not a place to live. And so I think I had a girlfriend in high school, right? So I did all the we Melissa and I once talked about when James Dobson died, and the focus on the family. I was a poster child for that. I had a girlfriend. I read Breakaway and went to Catholic leadership camp, and I was like,
Goodbye.
Yeah.
right,
Remember that one? And that guy,
His
the author,
dating
like came
goodbye.
back to be
Yeah,
like, that was bullshit. What did I do? What did I write? So that was our
right,
generation.
and then there's a moment when you are in moving into adulthood. Like I was with my high school sweetheart for 6 years, and she was luckily smarter than I was, and she was like, I'm not doing this,
a woman being
and
smarter than a man, that sort of
I
tracks.
mean, right, literally,
Who
seriously.
would have thought?
Agreed, agreed. I mean, and there was no way I was going to do it because I knew what would happen. And then and what I was afraid of did happen. So like the moment I was a junior in college and I came out and my parents disowned me. Most of my family stopped speaking to me and I was thousands of miles away from my home with no friends, no support system, and I had to figure out how to live in a truthful life. And when you're raised Christian and it's at a post with your identity, you learn to lie, right? You're encouraged to lie. You're taught that the truth is not okay, that you have to create a person that we can like, that we can find worthy. And so, I like was in this situation where I was like, oh my God, I have to tell the truth.
Yeah.
What does even that even mean anymore?
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up truth because I think one of your best attributes, just as a human, is your ability to be completely honest, sort of like good, bad, ugly, otherwise. I think I'll never forget when we first met each other and I was your coach and we were in a coaching conversation and you said, I am not getting what I need right now from you. Like, I'm not seeing you enough. Now, it didn't matter what the reason was, like, you actually were doing well and I had people on fire, but you advocated for yourself. And I think, obviously, I'm not part of a marginalized community. And I do feel like a lot of times in situations, there's a lot of pressure for people it's hard for people to speak up anyway, just in life. But then you add that layer of like, now you're sort of in, for lack of a better term, I'm in this place of authority. You're like the subordinate. And now you're having to like voice, and you're part of a marginalized community who's been told like, don't speak the truth. And so I think that people would get a lot of value out of hearing like, what did that journey look like for you to be able to, like, was it a slow roll? What moves did you start to make? Was it like the floodgates open once you came out? Like, I think that's really valuable because I think even as just a normal human, sometimes I struggle with being really honest because it feels uncomfortable.
I mean, there was a string and a web of lies. I mean, I don't even know how to say it in that other than like the truth became so not important in that period of time because like, so I just started lying about everything. If I wasn't going to be who I was, then I might as well recreate a much more interesting, better version of myself. Like I had grown up in like I would say a broken home for lack of a better term. Like I didn't know my birth father at all, and he was kind of horrible to my family or my mom specifically. And I was like, I'm gonna lie about that. I'm not gonna, when you grow up in a small town, everybody knows that story. So you can't lie about it. So I went to college and I lied about everything. Everything. Stupid things. Sorry, I was gonna swear. I'm like, I don't know if I can swear.
It's fine.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say stupid shit. Like I lied about being in this musical when I was 7, and I lied about everything. And when I came out, so there was about a year between breaking up with my fiance and coming out. And that year was when all the stories were told. And I was like, it took me, I would say it took me a decade to like, but I think it was longer. I think there were lies I told that I didn't even know I told. And then people would be like, I thought you said you did this. And I would be caught in the lie. And it wasn't, I would say it was probably in my 30s. I watched this episode of Oprah about like children of divorced parents and how like adult children, like you are no longer a child. And like the trauma and the truth of what that was, you ended up learning how to placate both parents. You learned how to tell each parent what they needed from you so that you would be a good person, so that they would love you. Because there was a fear that you were either the problem, even though you knew it. Like, even though you knew, it was like, maybe this was my fault. Or maybe if, and I was an adult. Like, I was an adult who watched this and I was like, oh no. And that was when I think I started to like, how do I step forward and let this go? And it literally took like a long time because the web of lies was intricate. And then every time I would run up against it, I'd have to like undo it.
Right.
And it took a long time. Even my husband, we would have conversations. He was like, I thought you lied about that. I was like, I did lie about that. I did. Yeah. I lied about everything because I would rather you hate me for someone I'm not, right? Than hate me for this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And you have a lot of secrets because it isn't just about your sexuality. It spreads like a cancer.
Yeah.
And it hurts women, right? I mean, I was with her for 6 years.
Yeah. Well, I just want to acknowledge too, like from my therapist hat, like you were surviving, right? That was your survival. I too grew up in the church on my own version of my own story of like the day I was like, so I can't just be me and still be accepted. There is this like very specific set of rules that we don't like actually say out loud, but that are there. And then the minute I deviate and I'm not perfect, you're out. So that's fun. But I think like just to give yourself that credit, you were surviving and you were doing the best you could. And there's such a parallel between the divorced parents and surviving as a child in that immediate home and relationship, and then surviving this other system that, if I am guessing correctly, very much felt like home and part of all the things that you knew, and you had to survive that one too, right? And if it were so easy, we would just dismantle the bad, unhelpful coping once we're out of it and like in something healthy, but we don't do that. And so it served a time there, like you survived, it's what you needed, but it's unlearning and rewiring and starting from scratch to figure out how to live in a healthy space where you are you and you can speak the truth, and it is safe to be vulnerable, but we don't learn that overnight. And so I think it's just giving yourself that credit too, that this is not an easy thing to dismantle, and you're probably still working on it, And
absolutely. So. I mean, and what my response was like radical honesty, which is also not healthy, right? But I didn't know how not like
to be all or nothing.
I was so afraid that I would continue the pattern, that I was just ruthless in my honesty, which is also a toxicity in and of itself.
But it makes sense. A lot of people do that, the opposite, the extreme, right? So like I've been told my whole life I need to save myself for marriage. Now I'm just going to go have sex with everybody, right? So it's like,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. No, I'm kidding. I get it. Don't judge yourself, Melissa. Don't judge yourself.
No, but do you know what I mean? Like, I think that those things, that makes sense, even though it's good that you're realizing that that extreme wasn't healthy either for you. It makes sense to me. Like, I think that happens to a lot of people. They have to do the extreme in order to not like backslide back into those old patterns because they feel so ingrained in who you are.
Because there's so much tension, right? It's like a pendulum. Like, it's pulling you so hard the minute you release it, of course it's going to swing all the way to the other side. It's like finally you'll find that middle, but it doesn't just go to the middle for the first time.
No.
And it like takes a minute to overshoot both ways.
Yeah. Well, and then the sort of side effect of all of this was that I had a really hard time. Like, when you're raised by a narcissist, you become really great at reading people. Like, what people need. You can read them. It was like a superpower. And I sort of describe it as like I needed to learn how to use my superpower for good and not evil. You know how like when Spider-Man first gets his power, he's like, the web is going everywhere and people are like, it's like breaking buildings and I didn't even know why I could read people. And what I learned was that what I needed to do was that I can read people. I mean, I know that Melissa watched me do this at work, but I would hate it because I could tell when somebody was full of shit and just spewing bullshit, and I would get angry because I'm like, I now have to be a part of your lie and I can't take this right now. Like, it's COVID, I'm busy, like, please stop. And I think what I've been learning in the last like 5 years is that I will read what person. I can tell I can tell. Like, whatever it is. They don't like me, they like me, they're having a fight with their husband, whatever, like I can tell something's wrong.
Yeah.
And that isn't about me. And unlike when I was a child and I had to read it and then respond appropriately so that I wouldn't get punished for it or get in trouble for it, right? Or get that brunt of not meeting that expectation. It is actually not my problem. And that is then the like, so now I walk with honesty and kindness. So like, I want to put out into the world what I really am miserable with the world right now. And so the only thing I can do is change what I give out. And so I have just made the decision that I am going to put out, like, I don't want to say positive energy because I don't want it to feel like a false sense of like toxic positivity, but like I want to put out kindness. I want to like the thing that I do as a teacher most importantly is I seek people. And I let kids know that I see them for who they are and that they matter and that like I did the debate team last year at a school where kids have never really won anything, right? They don't compete much. And I was like, you're the best. You're the best kids. I am so proud of you. You can do this. And then we had the largest debate team in the city. And we ended up winning the city championship. And my students were like, you told us we could do it. We thought you were crazy. And we did it. I was like, I told you. But I think that like we need to start seeing each other. Yeah. Like yesterday I was at, do you know Paper and Pencil, this store in Andersonville where they have like, it's a beautiful like stationery office supply store. Go check them out. Paper and Pencil.
Sounds like something I would love. Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I was there yesterday and there was this homeless guy on the street. And a guy's dog like peed. I don't really know what happened in this moment, but I saw this homeless guy screaming, running down the street, and he threw something, and he threw it at a dog, and I got involved. And this guy came over and kind of started coming at me, and I was like, dude, I see you. You're okay. Like I'm here for you. What do you need? And so like I calmed him down, and like we don't see each other anymore. We don't like look into each other's eyes. We don't, we're so soundbite, TikTok, viral video, and we kind of have stopped being intimate with one another in a very like friendly way. So what I want is to tell more stories, and I want to connect with one another. And even if it's like, are you okay? Or how are you today? Or because I think that is the one thing that we can do to make the world a better place. We can within our own communities care for each other just a little bit more. Yes. And then that is also an infection in a positive way, right? Yes. It is.
Yeah. Because it puts more social pressure on other people to do the same. It's like a ripple effect, like you said, right? Like if more people do it, then more people feel empowered to do it, or like they just feel good. So then they just want to spread that good feeling to other people. But yeah, I would agree with you. I think if we all, like we're wired for connection, right? As humans, like there's some animals that are designed to be solitary and we are not one of them. And so I think the more we could like just see each other and just have those moments, even if they're just small, like, are you okay? Can I help? Those are such small things that we can all do. And I think that's really powerful.
I just saw a quote that said the single most important, most impactful thing that you can do to live a long life is to have a community.
I posted that on Instagram.
Was it you? That's funny. Yeah, that's not. It was you. I quoted you.
I've never felt more cool in my life.
I mean, I'm glad I could make you feel good.
Thank you. You always make me feel good. That's what I appreciate about you, just as a friend, is that you do always you gas me up. You are my hype man, and it always makes me feel really good. And I think people that's why your kids respond to you well as students, right? Because you make them feel good about who they are. And I think that probably comes because people didn't make you feel good about who you were for a really long time.
No, I mean, as a middle school teacher, the irony that I have this job, right? Like, I never wanted to be a teacher. I thought teachers were stupid. I thought they were terrible. I hated teaching. I hated teachers. I hated school. And in 7th and 8th grade, I was suicidal, like aggressively suicidal. And I remember it. I remember why I didn't. I remember that another kid, the only other loser in my class, I was supposed to go to his house on a Saturday. No, it was after school. We were going to go horseback riding on his farm. country kid. And I'm like, I can't believe I was even going to do that. And my brother was coming in from college, and so we had to go to the Greyhound bus station in Moorhead, Minnesota, and go pick him up. My mom wouldn't let me go, so I took the day off of school. And when we got into town, there was a voicemail on our answering machine that he had killed himself. He hung himself in the barn. And I remember being like, oh my God, that was me. And I remember going to our Catholic leadership, our Catholic CCD class, the emergency meeting that they had, and all these girls were crying about him. And I was like, you hated his guts. And I literally said, I mean, I was so enraged. I was like, you killed him. You are all crying about this kid that died, and you're the murderers. And don't ever forget that I was saying this at like 12. I'm like, you murdered him. You were vile to him, and you murdered him, and you should not feel bad. You should feel terrible because you were horrible to him. And the fact that you're all talking about going to his funeral makes you pieces of shit. Like I was, and my parents were the teachers of the stupid class, so I couldn't even leave. Like I tried to, I'm not going. And my mom was like, no. It was. So I remember, and it's still like the worst year of my whole life. That year, and I think I can prevent my students from that. And that is my why. If I have a why, that is my why. That nobody should feel less than. We're all weird and odd and bizarre, and that is what makes us cool.
Yeah.
The differences, right?
Yeah.
Well, we could probably talk about this for 35 more years, and I feel like now you've just agreed to be on our another future episode because we have so much untapped material.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you want to just leave folks with, a culminating thought, or?
I mean, I'm gonna end with the thought that, and this is a little political, so I apologize, but fascism cannot rise in a community where people are connected and happy. And if you are frustrated with the world, go talk to people. Go to the coffee shop. Go build community. That's the only, go walk a dog. Go do something. Because that is the only way forward right now.
It's a reminder. And I'm excited we could connect here in this space.
Yay! Thank you for having me.
You're our first male that I've ever had on Tuesday.
Our inaugural male?
And now we're going to do a whole month of men. We're going to have 2 others.
Yeah, you
too,
inspired
so
a
that's
whole
gonna be
month,
really
a month of men.
Yay!
But what a profound story. I know that was it was deep, big things to share with an audience that you don't know. So I really appreciate your vulnerability and willingness to share, but I know it's going to impact and touch so many listeners' lives and really have the impact I think that you're trying to make. So I really appreciate that. And thanks for being here. It was a great
My pleasure.
conversation. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.